Hello and welcome back to Beyond Motherhood for another week. I am recording this on a Monday evening. It's been a big day. I worked this morning. I spent like a good 2 or more hours mowing the lawn. My kiddos come back tomorrow, and I just really felt called to share this episode. So before I go and make my dinner, here we are. So wherever you're tuning in from in the world, I'm so glad you're here for another week. And if you're new, welcome, welcome. We chat about all things motherhood and beyond, as the name of the podcast would suggest. Today, well, first of all, I want to just paint a picture for you. And it's something that we can all go through. Maybe you're in it at the moment. So if you're a mama who is feeling that you're just stuck in this loop of giving, giving, doing, but you feel like you're never receiving, or you're feeling numb, you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling just invisible and not appreciated in your own life, and or you are snapping at everyone and losing it more than you care to admit, or feeling shame and guilt around that, but you're really craving deeper connection, then this episode is for you, because we all feel these feelings, emotions, sensations at some point. Whether you're in it now or have experienced it, I'm sure there's going to be a time where it comes back. So keep on listening. We are going to chat about this. So for me, I know when I'm at the point where I'm noticing I'm more easily frustrated, I am losing it more at my kids, raising my voice, and just not really feeling like, just feel like I'm going through the motions day in and day out. When I start to get to that, and yes, there can often be things like I haven't had the best sleep, but often I notice it's when I have pulled back a bit from doing the things that I know support me and I know that I love and that really bring me joy in my own body. Or I'm doing all these things for my kids and doing everything they want to do. And sure, I do love doing things that they want to do, spending time outdoors, but you just don't have that moment for yourself. And I notice that when I'm starting to snap more, that's when I realize that, okay, where am I? Where am I needing to start to do these things that bring me joy and that make me feel alive and turned on by life? And not just in a sense of having to go and do something outside of the house, but how can I actually weave these things into my day? And yes, as I was saying, I went on off on a tangent there, but we can fall back into old patterns and habits, right? I'm very good at noticing when I am now and being able to sort of stop myself and then nourish myself in those ways. But I guess it's just really important to know that if you're sort of spiraling and going down in these, feeling like you're stuck in these loops, know that that's not where your story ends, and know that it can really be the beginning of coming home to you and to actually feeling more alive and turned on by life again as a woman and as a mother. And we can really get stuck in this vicious cycle of selflessness and being a martyr. And there's so much good mother conditioning that comes with that, and why we feel like that's the gold standard. And unfortunately, this can often keep us mamas in survival mode, where we're in this fight, flight, or freeze or fawn, and that's people pleasing and just wanting to do everything for everyone to please people, but not actually looking within at what our needs are and desires are and tending to those. And our own joy, our own pleasure, our own connection to ourselves, and it's not just relational with others, but with ourselves, gets put to the bottom of that list. And some of the common symptoms that can highlight to yourself and bring that awareness of disconnection are that irritability, numbness. Are you just, when you do finally get that moment to yourself, are you just jumping on social media and scrolling, doom scrolling, or just randomly, 30 minutes goes by and you're like, oh, I've just been on my phone for half an hour, and there are things that I could have done that maybe would have nourished me and supported me a little bit more. You are just feeling general like tension in your body. I hold it so much in my jaw, and I notice when I am really stressed and haven't really been listening to my body, my jaw, I'm like, oh, yeah, my jaw's really sore. Yep, notice that. And I know that there are some things I might need to shift. Or you actually feel guilt around your own joy and pleasure. So these are some of the common symptoms of disconnection. And connection and pleasure really do matter. And it's almost like this reframing it as not quote unquote pleasure, but really as an essential part of your life that is going to nourish your body, and remembering that it's not just an indulgence and it is actually serving you in so many ways. So when we think of it and reframe it as this essential nourishment that our soul and our bodies need as women and as mothers, we can start to realize how crucial it is to weave it into our days. And pleasure really can support your nervous system and regulating your nervous system. And that can take time because we have to rewire our relationship to it and remind ourselves that it is safe to do this for ourselves. And we've got this beautiful nerve called the vagus nerve in our body that goes all the way from our brainstem, and it branches out throughout our whole body, through our face, down at the back of our throat, through our heart, and it actually finishes all the way down in our gut, and sort of our womb space. So when we think of the vagus nerve, it actually provides this pathway for sensory information from our uterus, from our womb, all the way up to the brainstem. So it's processing this, it's providing that pathway for sensory information. So when we, as women, our womb is such a pivotal part of our pleasure and our creativity, like we birth life. Our uterus is where we grow our babies. And even if you don't have babies, or even if you don't have a womb or a uterus anymore, like it's still so much power in our womb space and in that part of our body, and where pleasure can stem from that. And with our vagus nerve, when we stimulate our vagus nerve, and there are lots of different ways we can do that through using our voice, humming, singing, different types of breathing, even down to like gargling water. There's lots of different ways we can stimulate it, but it actually activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest. It's our way to often, if we're in this sympathetic state where we're in fight, flight, we're just finding it really hard to switch off, we're in that go, go, do energy, it can really just help bring us back down to a bit more regulation, feeling a little bit more grounded in ourselves, and help us just to really connect deeper with our body and with our womb. And when we're supporting ourselves this way, we're able to be in a more present state with our kids, our partners, our friends, our family. And this also allows us to start to play and explore that aliveness within and our pleasure in lots of different ways. And just remember, pleasure isn't just quote unquote sexual or even sensual. Pleasure is just really that aliveness that we feel, that joy, that excitement, that, turned on. I love the word turned on because it doesn't have to, again, we sort of have these ideas of what words mean, but it doesn't have to relate to sex. it can just be your body just feels like it's coming alive. It's feeling lit up. It's feeling excited. It's feeling joyful. And that is really what pleasure is. And of course, it has its place in intimacy and all of those things as well. So we really need to break away. Also, I find, and I do this as well, is like I don't have time, and I get it. We live in such a busy, fast-paced world. But what I found, what I sort of alluded to before, is it's not about adding more to your plate. It's about how you inhabit your plate. Like how with, if we've only got this sized plate, how are we sort of weaving different things throughout the day that are going to ground us, help us connect to our pleasure, help us to feel regulated and grounded and connected. And that really is the pathway to coming back to yourself and coming home to your body. And, I mentioned some different practices, but really there are lots of different grounding practices you can do. There's different breath practices. Touch without tension. I find using external senses to be a really great way to not only be in the present moment, mindfulness, coming home to the body, but it's also a beautiful way to evoke pleasure in your body. What do you love to smell? What do you love to taste? What do you love to listen to? Which one I miss? Like, and touch. Like, how can you, again, it's self-touch. I'm literally like stroking my hands. Like, do you like firm touch? Do you want to just give yourself a big hug and just notice how that feels? Do you like to be tickled and that really nice soft touch on your skin? You can do this to yourself. And again, it doesn't have to be any sort of leading to anything. It can just be this gift that you're nourishing your body with. And it can just be a really beautiful experience. And it doesn't have to take long. It can take 30 seconds. And it's really just starting to soften into your needs without guilt. Like, how can you just, I want to say gift yourself, but it's not even gifting yourself. It's like your birthright to have these things and to experience these things and to receive and receive without apology. And sometimes we do need support and community for this. We need to be reminded by others, whether it's your partner who reminds you that, yeah, it's okay for you, more than okay for you to go and do something to nourish yourself, even if it's just for 5 minutes. And it doesn't have to be bubble baths or anything like that. It can just be sitting in a room without your kids climbing on you and breathing. And so for me, it can sometimes just be rubbing my hands up and down, like my legs, sort of if I'm cross-legged on the floor, just from my knees sort of up to my hips, and just sort of stroking my chest, my arms, even my face, and just like giving myself like a gentle massage. But it's just sitting there tuning in. What does my body need now? How does it want to move? What does it want to experience? And again, this can take practice to really being able to drop into your body and notice the sensations and the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that are coming through. But it's important to start. And it's important to remember that when you thrive, everything changes, and just know that this ripple effect will happen. It will happen. And the more we sort of come back to ourselves and remind ourselves of these things and nourish ourselves in this way, the pleasure that we experience internally starts to open up and provide these opportunities to be able to be more present with your kids and to experience life in such a different way, instead of waking up in the morning and just going throughout the day, and next minute it's bedtime, sleep, and then Groundhog Day the next day. Like, life is to be experienced fully, and pleasure is a part of life that we so often overmiss. Is overmiss a word? Or dismiss? Or skim over? because in our head, it's not important and it's not productive and it's self-indulgent. So, and yes, that's all the conditioning that we have been and the stories that we've been told from a young age. So if this is something you want to explore a little bit more, I want to invite you to join my free masterclass, The Power of Pleasure. And this is just a really gentle starting point to start to explore this connection with yourself in a different way. And it's not something to just add to your to-do list. And I will put all the details for that in my show notes that you can access. As I said, it's free, and go check it out. So here's to feeling alive and grounded and turned on as a mama and as a woman, because we are in our body, we are here, we are the ones we live with each and every day, every second of every day. So we need to give to ourselves so that we can give more and show up in motherhood and for our families the way we desire. So I will leave it at that for today and look forward to speaking to you on the next episode.